Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Mafex Magneto original comic version. And this is Mafex figure number 179, which of course is a 6-inch scale, and there's a picture of Magneto. Here's the figure in packaging. Comes with a lot of stuff, a lot of effect pieces, hands, extra face sculpts, even an empty helmet, so you can hold the helmet when he has his face revealed. I love when companies do that with Magneto helmets. And there's an awesome picture of Magneto. I think that's Jim Lee art. Again, I was never the biggest X-Men fan as a child, so I didn't really collect the comics, but I think that's Jim Lee. This is a 90s, I think, version. They still call it a comic version. And then there's a picture of the figure, a lot of cool poses you can do with this guy. Marvel Mafex medicomtoy. And then here's a side view of it with one of those effect pieces. Figure looks excellent. I think this is a soft goods cape, and I think it's wired. We'll find out in a minute. And on the back, here's the back of it, another effect piece there. And then here's the other effect pieces he comes with, the head sculpts, one of those like in the shadow. That looks really awesome. There's a comic shot of that in the comic set where it looks really cool. And yeah, and then the bottom is the official sticker. This is not a bootleg. This is an official Medicom toy. Real quick though, with this packaging, I want to show you guys some of the differences here. This is a Storm figure I just reviewed the other day. If I back out here a little bit. And then here you'll see Jean Grey, which I reviewed last week. And these figures are only 2 releases apart. And you can see how the X-Men figures have this X-Men thing on the side. And they have the orange turning into like a yellowish, whereas Magneto's packaging is completely different. So I don't know if there's any other villains that Mafex has done from Marvel, the X-Men line, but you know, the logo is the same. We got the picture, the comic version, which is cool. But yeah, regardless of that, packaging looks really nice. I love the open window display, so you can see what you get. Very, very nice. So let's get this guy unpackaged and see all that he comes with. All right, and here is Magneto unpackaged out of the box with everything he comes with. Comes with quite a bit. I love when figures have a lot of accessories and head sculpts. It's my thing. So this is pretty cool. He comes with quite a bit. And it comes with a stand, which is standard fare for the Mafex figures. I did figure out something, finally, in reviewing these Mafex figures, which I didn't realize until the other day. I want to show you guys. You probably know, but if not, you have different clamps you can use. You can use this clamp as a waist clamp, but what you can do is take that off, and then this crotch grabber can go underneath. So now it can hold around the waist and under, you know, in the crotch. So if you want to do some flight poses, it gives you more balance with the figure, which that is really cool. So we'll try that today with Magneto when we do some poses later. And then, of course, you get just the standard bigger clamp because this figure is bigger, so the clamps are bigger accordingly. And then you get like the flight rod, bendable flight rod, and then this pole, which I never know what to use this for with some of these figures, but I have an idea what to do with that for Magneto today. So here is some more of the accessories. We see some hands here, and he has a lot of open palms. I mean, he's a master of magnetism, so he's got open palm effects, like he's controlling, you know, things like that. And then you have these awesome looking magnetic effects. There's no fist attached to them, but you flip it around, and there's a fist indentation. So I think this just fits over the fist. It's not magnetic or anything. That'd be funny if it was magnetic, right? What a pun. But I probably will be using these, I think, when I display him. We'll see how they look in hand on the figure. And then we have these like really over-the-top blasts with a hand molded in. And you just pull this little peg out, and then you plug that into the wrist peg. So really cool, different type of display. And then you have these, which don't really feel like magnetism to me, but cool they added these. And again, these are fists. You need the fist hands to hold these up as well. And we'll try all these out. These are pliable. You're not going to break them if you drop them, things like that. And then here's the head sculpt, which I'm a sucker for head sculpts. We'll go over them on the figure in a minute. But on the left, you get one with his, you know, his face. It's a good sculpt. You get the middle one there where it's like he's in shadow. I've seen a couple comic panels through the years where it's like his face is in shadow, and then you have one with just the helmet. So he can hold the helmet while you have the this head sculpt on right here. And this one comes on the figure in the box. So it's a pretty good look. The figure I've messed with for a few minutes. It was, some of the joints were kind of almost stuck. I didn't have to use a hair dryer, but I think this figure is older. So it's been sitting around for a while, I believe. And I just had to make sure those joints came unstuck, and they did. And the cape is nice. It's very hefty and thick. It's wired on the sides. It's wired on the bottom. And so you can really do a lot with this cape. I haven't messed with it yet, but I know you can get some really good details. And it's nice and thick. You can't see through it, which is nice. So yeah, it's a nice looking cape. Not bad from Mafex. And then just look at this head sculpt a little bit closer in detail. If you get, I'm real close. I've zoomed in ×2. You can see almost the printing effect they use, little dots. If you look real close, let me try zooming in one more time. Yeah, you can just make out the dots there, but I mean, you're not gonna be that close in real life. It looks really good. And it looks like the hair has some like blue highlights in there. Not just white hair. Looks really good. And of course it has the armor piece around his neck there. That's very classic Magneto. The bright, reddish orange and the purple, it looks so good together. His gauntlets. There's a little bit of what do they call that? Like metal looking inside the you can see it glittering in the underwear there, and a little bit in the boots too. So let's go ahead and first change out the head sculpts, and then we'll go over articulation. All right, so here's the first head sculpt. And when I popped the original head off, the ball joint came out of the neck and was stuck in the bottom of the head, so I had to pull the ball joint out. I think I said this figure's a little older, so things are a little sticky with it. But it's not bad. But looking at this head sculpt, man, it looks really good. Check that out. The paint apps look near perfect. The purple and the reddish orange looks fantastic. A little bit of a miss there in the corner there with white hair, but I don't know how I feel about seeing his hair sticking out from his helmet. I'm not a fan of the longer haired Magneto, but it's still cool. I would definitely show him off this way in pictures and stuff. But yeah, he's kind of, he's grimacing, he's mad, he's angry. That looks really good. Let's see what happens. Okay, that stayed in that time. Let's do the one with the shadow. All right, and look at that. That is fantastic. Man, it'd be cool if there was a light up effect for these eyes. So you could really get the lights down on this and just see the white eyes lighting up. But I mean, regardless, that's cool. Definitely a very specific look. You might not always have this pose this way in your shelf, but pretty cool. So let's go ahead and put on the other head, the original head, because obviously just the mask, helmet won't fit. And as you can see, it won't fit on his head because that hair is sculpted so 90s style. So let's go over articulation here and see what we get. So the head and the neck are both on ball joints. So he can look down actually really good. He can look up, not too bad considering he has the long hair going there. It does hinder a bit, but not too bad. And then of course, side to side, all different ways, he can look really good. And then, as I mentioned, the cape is on a wire. There's a wire on the outside of each side of the cape. And then there's a wire running through the bottom, these pleats here. So you can get some really crazy flowing effects with this cape. I haven't messed with it yet, but yeah. And then the arms are on ball joints. And there is a piece here to kind of protect or cover. But the elbow, the ball joint does rotate, and there's bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then ball hinge peg for the wrist. And the arms, of course, go all the way around. And they do, there is a butterfly joint, but because his muscle, he's so muscular, you can't really you know, have him go all the way. But still, you know, good range of motion here for this figure. And then the upper torso is on a ball joint, which moves really well. For crunch, look at that crunch, really good. And he goes back pretty good as well. And then the waist is also another ball joint, I believe. But because this underwear and belt's so restricted, you can't really twist it too much, a little bit. And then the legs, like all Mafex, do drop down. So you can go, in this case, just about 90 because of his muscles. And then the knee joints, always love the knee joints on Mafex. They're nice and tight. You get double joints there. And then ball hinge ankles and toe articulation. And those ankle rockers are really good on this figure. So good stuff from Mafex. The joints are all real tight. The one thing I worry about, if anything, are the hips. Because they're drop down and they're ball joints, over time these tend to get loose. So if you play with your figure a lot, just keep that in mind. But otherwise, this figure is really good. I love this. This cape is out of control. They've really done a good job with all these wires and everything. So let's go ahead and maybe strike a few poses here. All right, so here's a blogger shot I recreated. I actually have him on the stand, but pretty cool look there. Using his powers of levitation with magnetism. And then, so this figure is rather heavy. So with these Mafex flight arms, they're very loose. You gotta take a small screwdriver and tighten up those screws. Otherwise, it won't support the weight of the figure. At least mine wouldn't. But man, that's a cool look. And these are the open palm hands, the fully open ones that come with the figure. Yeah, it looks really good. Let's strike some more poses. All right, and here's one with Magneto in the right fist, some sort of magnetic power thing going on. And then his left hand, I have got the helmet displayed balancing on this post, almost like he's using magnetism to kind of hold his helmet up, levitating in the air. So pretty cool. The cape, it's you got to take a lot of time if you want to get a nice pose with the cape. I haven't played with it too much, but I think you can get some really nice looks with this cape. It just, there's a lot going on with it. So it just takes some time, but it flows really good. Yeah, that looks really cool. Awesome. Okay, word of warning, when you put the fist inside of here, it's a good chance the fist is going to get stuck deep inside here. So I had to use some needle nose to pull it out. I don't think I damaged it. I pulled it out from here and inside here, but yeah, just be careful with this. Once it gets stuck, it goes in pretty far too. So be very careful putting those fists inside of this effect piece. All right, and check this out. This is awesome. This is really cool. The shadow head and then these magnetic fields he's making. His right hand, that fist, they're just a friction fit, and this one over here doesn't want to stay in very well. I wish it would have been magnetized or something, or maybe like a hand, like this piece has the hand in it. These should have had the same. They should have been hands in there because they really don't want to stay on there. I think over time they're probably going to fall off on their own. But just for right now, for a picture, holy crap, that looks fantastic. Fantastic. If you like X-Men and Magneto, man, this figure's really, really cool. Top-notch stuff. All right, and there's Magneto unhelmeted, holding his helmet in his left hand, using this other magnetic effect, which has the hand in it, this is a great idea. I love when they do that. Mezco's been doing that too with some of these effect pieces, having the hands molded into the effect pieces, and you just plug it into the wrist bag. But there's that helmet. You can hold it fine in his side there. Yeah, really awesome. This figure, this is a really nice release from Mafex. I like it a lot. Okay, for some size comparisons, here's the last three Mafex figures I've reviewed. We have Storm on the left, Jean Grey Phoenix on the right, and Magneto in the middle. And these are all from the same line. They're all comic book versions, and they go together nice. They look really good. Okay, here's Magneto next to a couple Mezco figures. We have Stu Richards on the left, and we have Wolverine on the right. And I don't know if they scale too well. Wolverine's head looks really big to me compared to like the size of Magneto's head. I think Magneto's head on his body maybe is a little tiny now that I look at this comparison. I think it looks good, but I think it might be on the smaller side. It could have been maybe a little bit bigger, especially with that cape as big as it is. And it looks like, you know, Stu Richards is, about the same height as Magneto. Magneto measures in at just over 6 inches, a little over 6 inches. So a true 1/12 scale. So I think, Mezco runs a little big in 1/12 scale. So I'm not sure that Sue Storm looks a little big to me compared to Magneto. Okay, and just for fun, this old Marvel Legends two-pack, Colossus and Juggernaut. And I think these actually scale really good with this Mafex Magneto. Obviously they're both bigger figures, but that's about how they would be in real life. Maybe Colossus is a tad bit bigger than maybe he should compared to Magneto. I'm not sure, but I think these look pretty cool together. Okay, then a final comparison, Mezco Doctor Doom to the left, really bigger. I think Magneto should have been a little taller, honestly. I don't think he's big enough, even for the Mafex scale. And then on the right is the Mafex Invincible Iron Man, which those two do scale good. So I guess the Mafex line, I think Mezco is going to be a little too big. Although if we bring in, let me do one thing here on camera. Let's bring in this Hasbro Doctor Doom. Hasbro Doom is bigger too. I guess Doom is taller than Magneto in real life or in comics. I'm not sure, honestly. He's wearing armor, but he's still a human. Yeah, so I feel like some of the figures scale well with this Magneto and some not so much. But anyway, there's a nice variety. You guys can see what scales and what doesn't. Okay, so at the end of the day, is this Magneto figure from Mafex worth it? Well, first off, it is still available on Big Bad Toy Store. That's where I got mine from, and it's currently $104.99. So, some of these Mafex figures have gone up in price over the years, and this one does come with a lot of accessories and multiple head sculpts and an extra helmet by itself, which is nice. So for me, I think this is worth it. I've always liked Magneto. In fact, as a kid, I'm going to show you guys here. Here's my original Magneto Secret Wars figure. It's well played with. You can see it's missing paint. But I remember playing with this figure and all my Secret Wars figures as a kid. I've always liked Magneto, not as much as like Doom or Kang or ones like that, but still a really cool figure. So the fact that I have him now in a modern form is cool. I'm happy with it. I don't have any other Magneto figures besides those two. I do have the Hano Studios one from Hot Toys on pre-order. Looking forward to that. But as far as this guy, $104.99, you make the call. If you're a huge X-Men person, if you love Magneto, this is a true to comic book form look, in my opinion, which is what I prefer. I prefer a comic book look over like the movie looks, things like that. But man, you can get some really nice poses. The stand does work well once you tighten those screws down. Otherwise, it's too heavy. And the cape is soft goods, a nice touch by Mafex. And I haven't spent a lot of time with the cape, as I mentioned. You can spend a lot of time with this cape and really get this thing looking really nice. But whether you use the effects it comes with, like this one here, or if you decide just to do this, either way, it looks awesome. So yeah, I think this is a winner in my book. I really like this figure. I'm glad I have it. And as I go through my detolfs and move things around, I might actually make myself an X-Men area where I have all these figures together in a big battle. It'll look kind of cool. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe if you would. I'd appreciate it. And until next time, this has been Mafex Magneto comic book version. Thanks for watching.